It is wild out here in these 2024 job search streets, so I am going to be sharing with you 5 trends that I see happening in the job market right now and 5 tips that you can use to really combat those so that you can be successful in your 2024 job search. So let's get right into it. And yes, these are going to help you stay motivated and know what to expect in the year to come. If you don't know me, hey boo hey, my name is Mercedes Swan. I'm the Career Love Coach, and my entire thing is helping Black women navigate their careers successfully so that they can enter into their career bliss era, okay? We want to see more Black women, I want to see, and I'm sure that you do too, see more Black women feel fulfilled, acknowledged, and in the career path that they feel like fulfills them. And so that's what I'm here to do for all of those 9.8 million Black women in the workforce who experience the gap, whether that's pay, promotion, inclusion, or otherwise. Like I said, I am seeing really big shifts and changes in the job market. I remember my 2019 job search. I think I applied to like 10 jobs. I interviewed for like half of them, and then within a couple months I had successfully pivoted. Now in 2023, when I was conducting my job search and successfully pivoted into a new career path, that was a totally different ballgame. I, even as someone who was a career coach who knew the elements of tailoring and branding and career clarity, had to apply to well over 100 jobs to really see any type of change, and until I was offered a position, right, for an organization and a company and a place that I absolutely love. But all of that to be said, it is so different, and we have to move and look at our job search and our strategy a lot different. So that's why I created this video, so that you can learn really what's going on and what you need to do differently in order to successfully navigate your 2024 job search. So let's get into it. So the first thing that you are going to see is the use of AI or technology in order to streamline the process. We have seen a lot of layoffs and changes in the job market and a reduction in the recruitment and hiring of recruitment professionals and HR professionals. And that means that companies have to work better with a smaller team. The way to do that is to implement AI technology or technology that's going to streamline the process without much use of a human element. So that might mean that you're seeing auto rejections. It might mean that you're getting automatic invites to interviews. It might mean that you're doing one-way interviews, which means that you are recording a video that somebody at the organization will review and screen at another time, that you're not going to be interacting with those people as much as you are used to in a job search. So one, that first means that you need to get comfortable interacting with these things. I have seen a lot of Black women in my community who have reached out to me with questions saying that they are just eliminating these organizations, and that might not be a good thing. Okay, you might think, okay, well that means this organization is cold and that they have a poor culture because they're using technology to replace people. But I think it's just a matter of the time. So don't necessarily discount an organization because they are trying to be agile and forward thinking in the way that they do recruitment to deal with what's needed in this job market at this moment. Ugh, sorry, I'm back. My stuff fell on the floor. This also means that in order to be successful in this job market, you need to make sure that you are so aware of the keywords that employers are looking for. So do your research, understand what employers are looking for in a candidate in this market, and make sure it's in your resume, it's in any text that you fill out in an application, and that you're using these keywords if you're doing any screening, whether that's a questionnaire or an interview, to make sure that AI, who's not as smart as a human, would be able to identify you as a top candidate. That's number one. Number two, we're already seeing this as an increase in ghosting and no responses after interviews or applications. Do not take this personally. Again, I talked to you just now about the decrease in recruitment and HR staff. That means there's not as many people there to do the personal touches, even if they were going to do that in the first place, to reach back out. I still think it's a great indicator of a great organization if they take time to let you know that you were not selected. But at the end of the day, if time is an issue, they're going to choose to reach back out to their top candidates first. Now, don't get offended if you don't hear back and automatically assume that you're not a top candidate. but also acknowledge that recruitment times are taking longer because there's more recruiters working on more recs. Therefore, they're not as likely to be as communicative and responsive to things. So, your solution or my tip for this is to be patient, right? If you do not receive a response in even 2 weeks, do not automatically discount that role that you were not selected or that you're not moving forward. I have had organizations in this market take a month or more to reach back out. Didn't mean that they were not interested. It just means that they did not have the capacity within their team to reach back out like they would like to. The other side of this is that means that you then need to be more proactive about personalized outreach, right? So if you can figure out who the recruiter is or the hiring manager and reach out, you're not asking for anything. You are just making a connection point, right? Because then your name becomes more familiar. And if you wrote a great email to really showcase why you're excited about this role, or what caused you to apply, or a little bit more about your skill set, that stays with people. They may not bring it up, but your name will become familiar to them, and it's more likely that you'll see a response from them as it relates to that. But do not get mad when people don't respond to you. As a recruiter, I have been there, just had way too much stuff in my inbox to respond back quickly. So it happens. Have grace with people as you would like them to have grace with yourself, as with you. Anyway, words are hard. Number 3 is that I think we're actually going to see a pretty big decrease in diversity, equity, and inclusion, diversity recruitment, and competency-based hiring. Now, I know I'm using a lot of words, but really a lot of those programs is what educated individuals to make better hiring decisions by not leaning on their stereotypes and their biases to make hiring decisions. So people were much more considerate about how Black women were treated in the recruitment process, or undervalued, or not appreciated for the same skills that our other peers may have been appreciated or valued for. And I think that's going to reel back because of two things, right? We have this environment of anti-wokeness and we have politicized DE&I initiatives, meaning that there is legislation happening all across the United States that actually makes these types of efforts illegal. And so as that happens, more and more employers are going to pull back on some of those initiatives. And because there's less capacity in these organizations, because these individuals in these DE&I roles have been laid off, or there's been a reduction in their teams, they have less capacity to do the work. And therefore, as a result, there are less likely to be initiatives or diversity recruitment programs that support the careers of Black women and the challenges that we face. There is not really a solution to this. It just means that, again, you have to be so specific about how you're packaging your skills. There is not a lot of grace for us already. So the more that you can really ensure that you are branding yourself at the correct level and not underselling your skills, right, as our counterparts do not do, you have to be so clear that you're not undervaluing your skills and that you're branding yourself correctly to the role so that you have a higher chance of receiving callbacks. On the other hand, we don't want to be navigating or working towards moving into a toxic work environment, right? If you didn't see my other videos about the toxic work cycle, toxic job cycle, then you need to watch that, because this is a key element here. If you are actively interviewing for an organization that pulled back on their DE&I initiatives because they don't want to deal with the political smoke, so to speak, you are going to find yourself in an organization that will not support you as a Black woman. I'm going to say that point blank. It's a very definitive statement. You do not even need to play around with the option that they may or may not support you and who you are as a Black woman. So be mindful of the organizations that are pulling back on these initiatives, okay? It's important for you and your long-term growth. Do not think that, okay, I could just use this as a come up and then I'm going to move and change and whatever, because the psychological impacts of being in a toxic work environment that does not value Black women, it will be more than you think. I promise, because I've been there, okay? Learn from me. Don't learn yourself. I mean, you can learn, but just not that, okay? I want better for you. Okay, number 4 is compensation and salary, right? We're having all of these layoffs, which means that we've shifted into this employer market, right, where there are more applicants than there are job postings, which is interesting in terms of seeing what's actually happening in the job market, because for all reports, there are more postings than people who are unemployed right now. But I also think just because the shifts and the inflation and really the changes that are happening with job insecurity and lots of mass layoffs in tech, there are a lot of qualified candidates applying for higher level jobs. That doesn't necessarily mean all the individuals who are unemployed in the market, right? So it's not a 1-to-1 ratio here. So because of that, I think we are going to continue to see stagnant salary, right? In the pandemic, we saw these really high salary ranges because employers had to compete in the market for highly qualified candidates. Because it is an employer market, employers are not going to have to compete as much, which means that we're not going to see an increase in salary. So, what does this mean for you as a job seeker? It means that if you have a need, right? And we already know Black women are underpaid. So, if you have a need to bump your salary, probably in this market, you are not going to benefit from a lateral move. Yes, lateral moves are something that, it is true. The more you move roles, the more likely you are to see a bump in your salary, even if it's lateral. But in all honesty, probably in this market, you are not going to see a big bump. So you need to start thinking about, how do I prepare myself for that next level step? And what are the roles that are in my career path, upward ladder that I can pursue that would allow me to be successful in pivoting into a next level job, right? Because that's really going to be the way that you're going to up level your salary, right? It's not these lateral moves that we saw during the pandemic, okay? It's not 2020 anymore. So I kind of already teased number 5 a little bit, which is this applicant versus opening paradox, where we are seeing that there are as many positions or more positions than there are for those who are unemployed or active. But there's a difference in unemployed and actively looking, which is why we're seeing it be an employer's market where there are hundreds and hundreds of applicants for each position, okay? So that's something that we need to think about. There has been some trends, and I would recommend that you continue to look for the fields that are actually seeing lower postings, which in tandem are also the roles that have been most impacted by layoffs during this time. So it's software engineers and IT professionals kind of in this STEM field or industry, HR professionals that I mentioned at the beginning, communications, IT, I already said IT, excuse me, and banking. So those are lower roles. It doesn't mean that you can't go for them, but again, if we're talking about being strategic and understanding what our job searches are going to look like, we need to know where there's more competition so that we know that we need to take an additional effort to stand out and reach out to people, right? What I'm saying in this market is for you to be very specific in how you are branding yourself, right? You need to make sure that you're taking a tailored approach with your applications, with your outreach, with the questions that you're answering when you submit your application. You need to be more specific than you've ever been about why these opportunities are for you and why you're taking time to submit an application. So in just a moment, I'm going to share 3 tips about how to stay motivated in this challenging job market, right? Because it is challenging and we do need to work on mindset. But before I do that, I want to invite you to learn a little bit more about my 90-day career coaching program. So I have designed a program with Black women in mind to understand the challenges that we face, the mindset that we really need to have, and really understanding the branding process, which is what is the hardest part of navigating a successful job search, right? If you are not branded, you cannot stand out. And so I created a 90-day program to work with Black women for that period of time to support them through that entire process. We start off with clarity, and we start off with getting really radically clear about what it is that you want in your career, what does that job look like, and then helping you to brand yourself. So writing that resume, helping you interview like a boss, helping you navigate and understand what a true job search strategy is in this new market. That is totally my thing. So if you have been really struggling in your job search in this hard market, reach out, schedule a career clarity chat. I will put a link below. We can talk more about where you are in your career as well as a program, and make sure it's something that would be a fit for you in order to help you successfully navigate and pivot in this market. So let's talk about those motivations. Yeah. Oh, hey boo, hey. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe, okay? I'm sharing and recording a lot of great videos that I think will really help you in your career. So make sure you go ahead and do that now and share it with a friend. So yes, this is an extremely hard job market. It means that you have to be motivated and laser focus and to use your mindset to help you navigate this. So I'm going to share 3 things that are going to help you with mindset shifts, so that you can stay motivated in a longer term job search than you're probably expecting. So the first one is to not take it personally. When you get that rejection letter, when you get ghosted, when you've applied for 30 positions and you have not had a response, do not automatically associate that with your value or your skill set, or that something's inherently wrong with who you are. It is an indicator of a challenging market and a competitive market, and how many individuals have been laid off and are actively looking for new opportunities, plus inflation. Okay, so there's all of these external factors that don't necessarily lead to you. Okay, and so I want you to stop taking the personal piece out of your job search and just say, I'm just applying, right? They're just picking the right candidate for them. It's not an indication of who I am or what I can do. It's just the market. Number 2 is about consistency, right? So in this market, you are going to have to apply for way more jobs than you had in the past. I shared that at the beginning, that I went from 7 to 10, right, applications to over 100. And so you are going to have to put yourself in the same headspace of really staying committed to a job search for 3 months at the least before you make a pivot, because that's how much time you need, and applying to about 20 or so applications each week in that entire period. I mean, it doesn't have to be 20, but I'm saying you need to be consistent in applying and kind of really just go forward and stay focused on the target of this. These are the number of positions that I'm going to apply for, rather than kind of switching it up every once in a while because you haven't seen the progress. Because honestly, it's going to take that much time to see that level of progress that you need to be successful. And a side note, yes, I already said this, but recruitment processes are taking longer. So that means it's going to take longer for you to hear back. And that might be 3 months. That's wild, I know. But hang on, I'm just being honest with you. I just want you to be prepared. And the last tip, mindset tip, is to be prepared for a marathon and not a sprint. I see so many of you who are in very toxic jobs, very bad environments, you need to make more money, etc., etc., and you are saying, okay, I'm just gonna really just get in there and just apply, mass apply, get my resume done really quickly, and just apply, just interview as many positions as they possibly can. And that is not going to work in this job market. You need to be prepared for a minimum of a 3-month job search. It's probably gonna look closer to 6 months. And that's just what I'm seeing, okay? So it doesn't, again, mean that you cannot be successful in pivoting. It just means that you have to be open and okay with a longer job search and not taking it personally. So prepare for a marathon of a job search, not a sprint. Oh, I'm sorry, I have one more tip, which is number 4, which is affirmations and mindset visualizations that can really help you stay motivated. So affirmations is one of them, kind of creating an exit visualization. So this idea that you're going to walk into your boss's job and you're going to let them know that here's their 2-week notice, and kind of visualizing and keeping that energy of I'm exiting, I'm moving. Or on the other hand, doing one that's about you accepting an offer in a different location, right? So visualize that happening, you getting that call from the recruiter with an offer, your dream offer. Keep yourself in the mindset of what it will feel like when you're able to pivot into the job that you really want. And you can download those below. There's a link, they're free, you can have them. Okay, so the last thing that we'll share is that at the beginning of this video, I talked to you about how I really had this challenging job search in 2023. And again, I think it's only gotten worse in 2024. There was a really key moment for me where I had to say, I'm going to get clarity, I'm going to get organized, I'm going to get consistent, and I'm going to leverage strategy. And using that, I actually created a resource for myself in a platform called Notion. And it was, for all intents purposes, my job search planner. I created that planner to stay motivated, organized, and focused, like I just said. And it was kind of like an HQ for my job search. And I kept all of the jobs in there. I kept my resumes in there. I kept all of my branding pieces in there. And what I did is, after I had successfully pivoted, I actually created that into a product that you can purchase if you would like to stay motivated as well. So I will link that below so that you can learn more. And maybe I'll do a little bit of a walkthrough of the resource. All right, love, yeah. I hope that you really enjoyed this video. I hope that at the end of the day, it helped you feel more prepared and also stay in the right mindset. My goal is for you to be able to move forward in a job search, whether that takes 3 months or a year or even more. I hope it doesn't. I hope that this helps you feel prepared so that you can tailor and you can brand and you can kind of stay agile with all this going on. Just know that wherever you are, whether you're frustrated or challenged in your job or feeling challenged in your job search, that what is for you is for you. And that the most important thing for you to really focus on is your mindset, but that at the end of the day, you are more than deserving of everything that you want in your career. All right, if you like this video, make sure that you subscribe so that you can get access to the next couple videos that I'll be posting, and make sure you share this with a friend who is also going through their job search. I hope that you got a lot out of this. Make sure you comment and let me know what you learned, and I will see you for the next video. Bye. Oh yeah, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, bye.